Hey, welcome back to Cruising in Style with K and M, the show where we help couples and families get the most out of travel. I'm Mark, and along with my wife Kim, we're here every week with real tips, honest advice, and the kind of insider knowledge that only comes from people who actually love to cruise. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. And if today's show helps you out, we'd love it if you'd give us a like and share it with a friend who loves to travel. It truly helps us grow. All right, let's get into it.
So, imagine dropping $25,000 on what you think is the vacation of a lifetime.
Oh, man, that is a lot of pressure to put on one trip.
Right. I mean, you've packed your absolute best evening wear, you finally step onto the ship, and you're just ready for nonstop entertainment.
Right, yeah, like a bustling casino floor, huge theater production.
Exactly. But then suddenly you realize the loudest thing on board is, well, a string quartet playing in a hushed library.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the culture shock there is real.
It is. And every year, thousands of travelers make this exact mistake, They realize the moment they unpack that the vibe of the ship just completely clashes with their travel style.
It's a remarkably common and honestly painful trap. I mean, travelers will look at a glossy 30-second television commercial showing someone holding a glass of champagne on this beautiful teak balcony.
And they just pull out their credit card.
Exactly. They assume luxury is just a universal standard, when in reality, the high-end cruise industry is heavily, heavily fragmented.
Which is exactly why you brought this massive stack of sources to us today.
I did, yeah. Lots to get through.
We've got, cruiseline.com's 2026 Member Choice Awards. We've got some insider industry guides and even actual naval architecture specs, which is super cool.
It's the best way to really understand what's going on under the hood.
For sure. So our mission for this deep dive is to decode the real differences between 4 top-tier lines for you. We're looking at Viking, Oceania, Celebrity, and Regent. Because, honestly, the ultimate luxury isn't the price tag.
No, not at all.
It's not wasting your time on a trip that was built for someone else.
Right. And I think the best way to tackle this is to kind of dismantle the core psychological bias that most people bring to booking a vacation.
Okay, color me intrigued. What do you mean by psychological bias?
Well, think about it. In almost every other aspect of consumer life, spending more money equates to acquiring more things.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like if you buy a more expensive television, you get more inches.
Exactly. Or a more expensive car gets you more horsepower, more features.
So naturally, when a traveler decides to upgrade, from a standard mass market cruise to a luxury line, they just expect a bigger experience.
They expect more of everything. More restaurants, more shows.
More zip lines.
Right, exactly. But the reality is the exact inverse. The premium and mass market Tirso, ships like the Utopia of the Seas or the Sun Princess, they operate entirely on the metric of volume.
Meaning just sheer size and options.
Yeah. They feature, 20-plus dining venues, these soaring neon-lit grand atriums, 80 different activities on the daily schedule.
Thousands of passengers.
Thousands. The ship's architecture is fundamentally designed to constantly stimulate you. But crossing over into ultra-luxury, that requires a complete paradigm shift. Ultra-luxury is actually defined by the deliberate removal of stimuli.
The deliberate removal.
Yeah.
So it's like the concept of negative space.
That is a perfect way to put it, actually, yeah.
Instead of sensory overload, you are basically paying for quiet.
Right. The architecture shifts to reflect an upmarket, intimate, boutique hotel. I mean, you won't find lines for the buffet because, well, there are no crowds to form a line.
Makes sense.
And the daily schedule might only list, 8 to 10 curated activities rather than 80. And here's the wild part.
Yeah.
The standard cabin square footage on some of these ultra-luxury vessels is occasionally smaller than the massive mega suites you could book for the exact same price on a lower-tier ship.
Wow. Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this transition. It feels a bit like, okay, tell me if this tracks.
Go for it.
It's like going from a massive 100-item buffet where everything is loud and flashy and there's a chocolate fountain
It's total chaos.
to an exclusive Omako's sushi bar that only seats 8 people.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right. You're getting physically less food in terms of sheer volume, and there's no background music, but the quality of that single piece of tuna they place in front of you is just off the charts.
That captures the dynamic perfectly. You are trading the quantity of distractions for the quality of the space and, crucially, the hyper-personalization of the service.
But wait, if I'm someone who is used to those massive, 5,000 passenger floating amusement parks jumping straight into a silent 600-person luxury yacht feels like a recipe for total culture shock.
It absolutely can be.
I mean, I might honestly just get bored. There had to be some kind of middle ground for a first-timer, right?
Yes, and the industry actually recognized that exact friction point. If you want an elevated experience without losing that vibrant, large-scale atmosphere, Celebrity Cruises is really engineered to be that transitional bridge.
Okay, so Celebrity is the gateway.
Exactly. They sit firmly in the premium tier, acting as the gateway to luxury.
Because they're Edge-class ships. So that's the Edge, Apex Beyond, and Ascent, right?
Oh, they're the ones, yeah.
They are still carrying around 2,900 passengers. So you don't lose the critical mass required for high-energy nightlife or, the really large theater productions.
Right. And the physical footprint of a 2,900-passenger ship allows for immense architectural creativity that those small luxury yachts simply cannot support.
Because they just don't have the space.
Exactly. On Celebrity, you get venues like Le Voyage by Daniel Boulud, and these highly theatrical engineering marvels like the Magic Carpet.
Oh, the Magic Carpet is absolutely fascinating.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is. For anyone listening who hasn't seen it, it's this massive cantilevered floating platform attached to the exterior of the ship, and it physically moves up and down between the decks.
Yeah, hanging right over the ocean.
Sometimes it's a high-altitude bar, sometimes it's an extension of the pool deck, and sometimes it drops all the way down to sea level to act as this super luxurious boarding area for the tender boats.
Right, it delivers that massive wow factor that mass-market cruisers crave, but it's executed with high-end, modern design.
But what if I'm on that massive ship and I just need a break from the 2,900 people?
Well, for a traveler seeking true ultra-luxury on that energetic premium ship, the strategy is to book what Celebrity calls the retreat.
Okay, the retreat. That's the ship within a ship concept, right?
You got it.
So basically a VIP velvet rope scenario.
Essentially, yeah. By booking a suite in the retreat, you gain keycard access to a private restaurant, a private sun deck, and a dedicated butler.
Oh, wow.
So it solves the first-timer's dilemma perfectly. You have this serene, crowd-free oasis to decompress in, but the moment you want a lively martini bar or a huge production show, you just step outside your private enclave into the 2,900-passenger city.
That is genuinely the best of both worlds. And I noticed in the source material that Celebrity is aggressively targeting solo travelers with this class of ships, too.
They are, and it's a very smart move.
Because historically, the cruise industry has totally punished solo travelers. You usually get stuck in some interior broom closet and charged double for the privilege.
The dreaded single supplement. Yeah, it's been a real issue.
But Celebrity designed specific concierge-class solo verandas on these Edge-class ships. And they aren't tiny. They are a genuinely spacious 184 square feet. They feature private balconies, and the line actually hosts coordinated meetups for solo guests.
It creates a very safe, very welcoming entry point. It lowers that psychological hurdle of traveling alone.
Absolutely.
However, and this is a big however, once a traveler decides they no longer need the energy of 3,000 people and they want to strip away the crowds entirely, the passenger count drops and the ships are forced to specialize.
Because you can't be everything to everyone on a tiny ship.
Exactly. This is where you have to be ruthlessly honest with yourself about what your actual passions are.
Okay, so let's put Viking and Oceania head-to-head here. Because on paper, to a novice, they might look pretty similar.
They do share some surface-level similarities, yeah.
They both operate smaller ships. They both target affluent adults. But reading through the sources, their onboard philosophies couldn't be more different.
Night and day. Let's start with Viking. They operate mid-size ocean ships carrying roughly 900 passengers. Their architectural and operational philosophy is completely 100% dedicated to purposeful exploration.
Purposeful exploration.
Right. The environment is heavily influenced by Scandinavian minimalism. So, lots of light wood, clean lines, and very quiet spaces.
And their operational rules are incredibly strict to protect that vibe. I mean, no guest is under 18, period.
Or none.
No casinos whatsoever, no water slides, and no umbrella drinks by the pool.
The decision to remove the casino is particularly revealing, I think.
Really? How so?
Well, a casino fundamentally alters the demographic and the evening energy of a ship. It creates a very specific kind of late-night noise and traffic. By omitting it entirely, Viking curates an environment exclusively for intellectually curious travelers.
Interesting. So what do people do at night?
The onboard enrichment leans heavily into academic lectures, regional history, and deep destination immersion. It's designed to feel less like a party and more like a floating symposium.
A floating symposium. Okay, then you look at Oceania. Some of their ships are even smaller, right?
Yeah.
Carrying just 684 passengers.
Yes, very intimate.
So if Viking is the floating university, Oceania is the floating Michelin-starred restaurant.
That is the perfect way to categorize them. Oceania's entire brand identity revolves around culinary excellence. They have this massive partnership with the Culinary Institute of America, and it isn't just some marketing gimmick.
It's not just a plaque on the wall.
No, it actually influences the fundamental design of their galleys and the sourcing of their ingredients.
And here is where the mechanics of ship size get really interesting to me. A massive 5,000-passenger ship literally cannot offer world-class, locally sourced food.
It's a logistical impossibility.
Right. They can't dock at a tiny fishing village in the Mediterranean and just buy fresh catch because they would deplete the entire town's food supply in like 10 minutes.
Exactly. The logistics of scale make true gourmet, locally sourced dining impossible on a megaship. But Oceania's 684-passenger footprint, that means their chefs can literally walk into a market in a remote port in Albania or, the Azores in the middle of the Atlantic.
Wow.
They can source local, high-quality ingredients, bring them back, and serve them that very evening.
And all of those specialty restaurants are included in the fare without extra cover charges, which is huge. But let me challenge this a bit.
Sure.
Say I watch a Viking commercial. The Scandinavian design looks incredibly relaxing, so I drop 10 grand on a ticket.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't really care about Roman history lectures.
Okay.
I just want to eat spectacular 5-star meals, drink heavy pours of wine, and maybe have a vibrant late-night social scene.
Yeah.
What happens?
You would be profoundly miserable.
Seriously.
Seriously. You would find yourself on a stunningly gorgeous vessel surrounded by fellow guests who are eagerly debating a morning lecture on Byzantine architecture.
Well, I'm just looking for a party.
Right. You'd be searching for a buzzing culinary and social scene that the brand simply wasn't designed to provide. You'd feel completely out of place.
Which brings us to the most deceptive word in the entire travel industry. All-inclusive.
Oh, yes. The illusion of the inclusive fare.
We just mentioned Oceania includes its specialty dining, which is great. But I know from my own travels, the moment you want a premium cocktail or you step off the ship for an excursion, out comes a cruise card. And honestly, the friction of constantly signing receipts kind of destroys the illusion of luxury for me.
It's a huge pain point. The financial architecture of cruising is heavily built on unbundling. Even on highly premium lines, the initial fare is often just the baseline.
Even on Viking.
Well, Viking, to their credit, includes one shore excursion per port, but it is typically a very basic panoramic bus tour or a walking tour.
So if you want the immersive 8-hour cultural deep dive with a private guide,
You are paying hundreds of dollars extra. And things like premium Wi-Fi, top-shelf spirits, and daily gratuities frequently appear on the final folio at disembarkation.
yikes. So to eliminate that friction entirely, our sources point us directly to Regent Seven Seas. They seem to exist in a category entirely of their own when it comes to the true definition of all-inclusive.
They do. Regent's model is absolute financial frictionlessness.
Frictionlessness. I like that.
It's the only way to describe it. The upfront fare covers intercontinental business class airfare.
Wait, business class airfare is included.
Included. It also covers unlimited shore excursions, and we're talking about the highly involved, expensive tours, all premium liquors, pre-cruise luxury hotel stays, valet laundry, and gratuities. It's all baked into the cost.
That is insane. And I read that they frequently waive the single supplement for solo travelers too, which is practically unheard of in the ultra-luxury space.
It is very rare. With Regent, you literally place your wallet in your suite safe on day one, and you don't look at it again until you fly home.
Okay, but to conceptualize the sheer scale of Regent's operation, we need to examine their newest vessel launching in 2026, the Seven Seas Prestige.
Yes, the Prestige. It carries 822 guests, but the critical metric we need to look at here is the crew-to-guest ratio. It sits at a staggering 1 to 1.3.
Okay, let's break down what that actually feels like for the listener. That means for every 10 guests on board, there are roughly 8 crew members.
Exactly. And mechanically, a ratio that high changes the very nature of service from reactive to anticipatory.
Reactive to anticipatory. So on a standard ship, I'm reactive. I flag down a waiter to order a drink.
Right. But on the Prestige, the staff has the bandwidth to literally memorize your preferences, track your habits, and arrive with your preferred cocktail before you've even consciously registered that you want one.
That is almost spooky, but I love it. And if we want to talk about extremes, we have to talk about the Skyview Regent Suite on the Prestige.
Oh, the sky view, it is the apex of the ship.
It's an 8,800 square foot two-story mansion floating at sea.
Just the architectural engineering required to place a multi-level structure of that sheer size on the top deck without destabilizing the ship's center of gravity. It's remarkable.
It is. And the amenities are ridiculous. It features its own private in-suite elevator, a floating natural stone staircase,
Don't forget the personal gym.
a personal gym, a private sauna, dedicated butler service, welcome bottles of Dom Perignon, a Remy Martin Louis XIII cognac, and the price tag,
Brace yourself.
$25,000 per night.
Yeah. But you know, the true value proposition of that $25,000 isn't just the square footage.
It's not.
No, it's the seamless extension of the luxury off the ship.
Yeah.
Booking that suite guarantees you a private car and a dedicated driver waiting for you in every single port of call.
Okay, obviously the Skyview suite is an anomaly for the ultra-wealthy, but just looking at Regent's standard suites, the upfront sticker shock is still pretty intense.
It is definitely a high barrier to entry.
So my question is writing that massive check up front actually a smarter financial move in the long run?
Honestly, when you run the mathematics, comparing Regent against a slightly lower tier luxury line where you pay a la carte, the gap closes rapidly. Yeah, think about it. By the time you manually purchase business class flights, a 5-star hotel the night before, daily premium excursions, fine wines, and tips, the total out-of-pocket expense is incredibly close.
That makes a lot of sense.
The premium you pay to Regent is essentially a tax on peace of mind. You are buying the psychological freedom of never having to calculate costs during your downtime.
It's the ultimate pampering, but, and this is a big but, all of this traditional luxury, the floating mansions, the culinary institutes of the valets, it hits a hard physical wall the moment you decide you want to see an emperor penguin in Antarctica or navigate the ice floes of Greenland.
Oh, absolutely. A standard luxury vessel physically cannot survive those environments.
They just aren't built for it.
Right. The infrastructure of the ports doesn't exist, and the ice would compromise standard steel hulls almost immediately. This necessitates a transition to expedition cruising, which requires a complete rewiring of what the traveler considers luxury.
Because on standard lines, the ship itself is the destination. The ports are just, it's like a pleasant backdrop to the onboard culinary and architectural experience.
Exactly. But in expedition cruising, the environment dictates everything. The vessel is merely a highly sophisticated tactical delivery system to get you safely into hostile, untouched ecosystems.
The naval architecture required for this is wild. The sources highlight ships like the Magellan Explorer and the Sea Spirit.
Beautiful, rugged ships.
And they utilize specialized ice-strengthened hulls with ratings like PC5 Category A or 1A Super. Let's decode what that actually means for us.
Sure. Those ratings refer to the thickness of the steel plating and the density of the internal framing. A PC5 category hull means the ship's structure is reinforced heavily enough to continuously break through first-year ice without sustaining damage.
Wow.
Furthermore, these ships are equipped with fleets of Zodiacs.
Those are the military-grade inflatable landing craft, right?
Yes. Because there are no docks in Antarctica, you have to make wet landings on the beaches.
So the daily routine flips completely. You aren't dressing up for a Michelin-starred tasting menu followed by a Broadway show.
Not at all.
The pinnacle event of your evening is sitting in a lounge, listening to a team of glaciologists, marine biologists, and naturalist guides brief you on the weather patterns and wildlife behavior for the next morning's landing.
The physical demands on the traveler shift entirely, too. The luxury here isn't sedentary. It involves waking up at dawn, donning heavy specialized parkas, and engaging in active exploration.
Active luxury.
Exactly. We are talking about cross-country skiing across pristine snowfields, snowshoeing, overnight camping on the Antarctic ice, and on some specialized vessels, even polar scuba diving.
Okay, but there is also a massive logistical constraint regarding passenger counts that completely shapes this experience, right? And it's not just about keeping the ship quiet this time, it's international law.
That's right. The International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators, or IATO, strictly regulates human impact to protect the fragile biosystems and wildlife breeding grounds.
And what's the rule?
Only 100 passengers are legally allowed to land at any specific site in Antarctica simultaneously.
Wait, so if you book an expedition ship carrying 300 passengers, you are basically going to spend 2/3 of your day just sitting on the ship, waiting for your turn to get in a Zodiac.
Unfortunately, yes. which is why top-tier expedition vessels deliberately restrict their capacity. The Magellan Explorer, for instance, caps its guest list at just 71 passengers.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It is. It ensures that the moment the captain finds a viable landing spot alongside a penguin colony, every single guest can disembark immediately. There is zero waiting.
So the mindset shift is massive. I mean, I'm paying $20,000, but my cabin is likely smaller and far more utilitarian than a Regent suite. I don't have a butler unpacking my bags, and I'm physically exerting myself in sub-zero temperatures.
Right. But the currency of expedition luxury is exclusive access. You are trading thread counts and caviar for the profound privilege of having a world-class biologist standing on a zodiac beside you, contextualizing the behavior of a humpback whale breaching 20 feet away.
That gave me chills. Okay, you've given us a masterclass today. We've navigated from the 3,000-passenger floating resorts all the way down to 71-passenger icebreakers.
We covered a lot of nautical miles.
We really did. Let's synthesize this into an actionable cheat sheet so you, listening right now, know exactly where to direct your investment. Let's start with celebrity.
Right. So if your travel style requires high-energy, world-class modern design, a wide variety of entertainment, but you still want the option of a private, suite-class sanctuary away from the crowds, celebrity is your bridge.
Perfect. And what about Viking? If you are an intellectually curious adult who prefers a quiet, Scandinavian aesthetic, destination immersion, and an environment totally free of children and casinos, you want Viking.
Exactly. Now, if your perfect vacation is purely defined by gastronomy, if you want to explore small, off-the-beaten-path ports during the day and eat meals that rival top land-based restaurants at night, you want Oceania.
Makes sense. And if you despise signing receipts and just want the absolute pinnacle of friction-free ultra-luxury where business-class airfare, high-end excursions, and every drop of premium alcohol is included up front, you book Regent Seven Seas.
Spot on. And finally, if you seek raw, once-in-a-lifetime adventure at the ends of the earth, and you define luxury by exclusive access to untouched nature rather than onboard pampering, you need an expedition vessel.
It's incredibly clarifying when you break it down like that. But, looking at all these sources, studying these environments, from the hyper-curated silence of Viking to the absolute financial frictionlessness of Regent, something really interesting stands out to me.
What's that?
We spend so much money to insulate ourselves. We buy our way out of lines, out of planning, out of minor inconveniences.
We basically construct the perfect, flawless bubble.
Exactly. But I wonder, does paying a premium for an entirely friction-free, hyper-curated bubble actually insulate us too much?
That's a fascinating question.
Right. Because part of the magic of travel used to be the unexpected detour, the slight chaos of a missed train, the friction in navigating a foreign market. If we engineer every single micro-annoyance out of our vacations, do we risk disconnecting ourselves from the raw, unpredictable reality of the world we're paying so much money to see? It's definitely something to think about the next time you find yourself browsing those glossy brochures.
Quick word from Adventures by K and M. If today's episode got you thinking about your next cruise, we'd love to help you plan it. Kim and I are full-service travel advisors specializing in luxury cruises for couples. We handle everything: the research, the booking, the details. So all you have to do is show up and enjoy. And here's the best part: our planning services are completely free to you. We're paid by the cruise lines, not by you. So if you're ready to start dreaming, head to adventuresbycandem.info or grab the link in the description to book a free discovery call. We'd love to help you plan something unforgettable.